Hi everybody. I always say it's been a while since I've done a video. I'm gonna offer some explanation as to why. There has been a series of events that have happened, and this is just real talk, just me telling you what's going on and giving you some kind of insight as to why things are sporadic with me. There's many levels to this. So the first level to this is my finances have changed. My life has changed. There was a situation that happened when I was working at my last job where I was given an opportunity to make a choice, and which, by the way, was not an easy decision. It was not something that, I just made without thinking of the ramifications. I'm sorry, my shirt is like all over the place. After hours of discussing this with Aaron and things, I made the decision to walk away from that job. As difficult as it was under the circumstance with my things that were happening at home and everything in general, I just thought it would be the best decision to make. My oldest daughter was going through some mental health problems at the time. She was diagnosed 3 years ago with anxiety and depression. And there was a situation that led to that diagnosis, which I'm not going to talk about here because I feel that's her personal discussion. That's her personal thing, that if she ever wants me to delve into that, I will do that. But for right now, I'm just going to talk about the diagnosis and the many appointments for counseling and psychiatrists and with our family doctor. And it required me, while I was trying to work and hold down everything, it required me to take her to these appointments, and I don't regret that decision whatsoever. Financially, though, we took a hit, and we took a hit large. You will notice that there's very few cooking videos, and that's because I don't have the little pocket of money set aside for food like I used to. So I try to do what is fiscally affordable for us and is not time consuming for you. And I try to do the balancing act, and lately I haven't been doing very well with that. There have been a lot of other stresses, when it comes to somebody losing a job or walking away from a job and going down to like one income in a family. There are other stresses. There are other financial hits like cars and car repairs and just trying to maintain a roof over everybody's heads and getting the bare necessities of what everybody needs. And sometimes that's a struggle, and that is a bigger balancing act than a lot of people, I think, give credit to. The things we take for granted when we are in a more financially secure situation are, at the time, we don't think about them. We don't think about, oh, well, I got to put money in the car for repairs. That's nothing. I got to put money in the car for gas. Nothing. It's nothing until it is, until it is a big deal. Thinking back just over a year ago, I put $1,800 in car repairs just to make sure that my car was legal. And I don't regret that decision, but with the decision that we have to be making this year, it's a little stressful You know, we were told that our car will pass inspection this year, but next year it won't unless we put $2,000 into it. And at that point, Aaron and I just kind of looked at each other and we were like, I think we need to cut our losses with this car. So we have a year to find another vehicle. We're down to one vehicle. And you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's not terrible. You know, these are not things that we can't overcome. These are not things that are gonna bury us. You know, my children always come first, and all the children, and whatever our needs are comes last. And you know, that's the way we handle things in our house. And I know that's what a lot of families do, and I know that there's a lot of families that are really struggling a lot more than we are. And I feel completely blessed for the things that we do have. And don't take anything for granted. The decision, like I said, the decision I made to walk away from my old job, it wasn't an easy one, but it was one that was necessary for my daughter's mental health, for I think everybody's mental health, to be honest with you. I was working erratic hours, and it was never consistent on when I was going to be home. We never could plan for anything. If there was something happening, I had to know a huge amount of time in advance just to give my boss the heads up, so possibly I could get that off, even if he remembered. And that's nothing against him. He had a lot on his plate at the time. But it was a balancing act, and it still is. Financially, it is. My oldest daughter, she is in a much better place than she was even a year ago. And this has caused a lot of stress with me. As a mother, it makes me feel like I did something wrong and have to take responsibility for what other people have done in the past. And it's hard, and it's emotional, and it's hot. It's heavy hitting, and there are days where I really don't feel like getting in front of the camera or cooking. And it's not because I don't love it. It's not because I don't like YouTube. I love YouTube. It's just I needed to figure some stuff out. I needed to figure how I'm going to do this. And the recipes I've tried, they were new recipes and they failed. And I don't think it's because I really wanted them to succeed. My head and my heart have been into the cooking realm for a very long time, and I'm just now slowly finding that niche again. I'm slowly finding myself in it again and enjoying it again. And there's a couple of recipes that are going to be coming. I have to practice on a couple of things because I don't have it right just yet. It has to do with candy, and I am a good baker, I am a good cooker, but when it comes to candy, I really struggle with that because I'm very impatient and waiting for that candy thermometer to get to the temperature that it needs to drives me nuts. It's not good if you're not a patient person like me. So yeah, that's a little bit of an update of where we are mentally, where we are right now. I am hoping that this slump of not getting into the kitchen is a temporary one, because that's where I do find a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. It's really difficult to find that joy when you don't financially have the money for certain things that you really do want to show people how to make, and you're kind of limited to that. And creativity can only get you so far when mentally you're blocked, and mentally there are struggles, there's depression, there is sadness, and there's just lack of motivation. And I can say without anything else, all of that comes from me. It's not so much from anybody else. It's not from my daughter's struggles or whatever. These are just things that we have gone through as a family, and we're still going through. We're still trying to find the right fit for us for a lot of things when it comes to how to juggle everything. So coupons, they only get you so far. Where I live, it's it might save you 50 cents here, 50 cents there, but it's not a real big savings, even if you use the coupons along with savings, the actual store savings. I have found that it's not, I don't know, it's not worth trying to remember when you have to remember 85 other things in a day. And so, like I said, my oldest child, she is in a much better headspace than she was. She still has her good days. She still has her bad days. She has been kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Conflicted on whether or not she wants to post a video about what she has gone through to help other people. On one hand, I see how that can be beneficial. On the other hand, I don't want her words and her experience to be taken in the wrong way or used for something that it's not intended to. So we're just trying to figure out the right way to do this. But depression, anxiety, mental illness is a real thing, and it's probably more common than the common cold. It really is. I mean, when you look at the world and society as a whole as it is today, it's no surprise whatsoever that people are feeling the effects of just the instant gratification of social media. You know, when I was a kid, these things were not things. Like, if you wanted to contact somebody, you picked up the telephone and you called them. The internet wasn't a thing. Cell phones that have video capabilities and all these other things, it wasn't something that was normal. It wasn't, if you wanted to go see somebody, you'd actually walk to their house and sit at their house and have a conversation. So these were all things that in my generation we didn't really have. Not that depression and anxiety didn't exist, because it did. There was just no name for it yet. That's the same with like a lot of things. A lot of things did exist hundreds of years ago. It's just we didn't have a name for them. And now that we do, and now that we have the medical technology to help people with mental illness or physical illness or whatever is going on, we can do that now, whereas even 50 years ago we couldn't. So medical science has come a long way, and it's only going to get more prevalent as the years go on, which is obvious. So yeah, that's where we're at. We are having a bad I don't want to say it's a bad time. It's not insurmountable, but it is a struggle within itself. And that's where we've been. And I'm going to continue to try to put up little updates. And if I have a little blurb of a recipe, I'll put that up. but I can't tell you when, because I want to make sure that my family is okay first. I want to make sure that mentally everybody is, I don't want to say normal or 100%. I want to say when they're feeling well, is when I think it will be a good day to do things like that. And I know that my kids miss doing the videos, and we should bring back more kid bites, because I think that they would really enjoy that and being creative in the kitchen again. So that's all in the future to look forward to. And if you know anybody struggling with mental illness or depression, anxiety, whatever, reach out to them. They are not going to want your reaching out or your help, or they'll tell you that. But even if you just let them know that you're there for them, it can go a long way. Even if you're making them soup, or just kind of sitting there watching a television show with them, just so that they know that they're not alone in that space. So I think I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you when I can, but I just thought I'd give you a little heads up on what's going on and what has happened. So yes, I am home. I am not working, but I am. I'm working to mend some broken hearts, and I'm working to clear some headspace, including my own. So take care, everybody, and live, laugh, and love.